All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay. Audio check, audio check. Give us an audio check to make sure you can hear us. They can hear us now. I believe so. All right, let's get this show going, everyone. We'll be with you in just...
Let's go. Holy crap, we got... Oh, no. Never mind. Oh, we got 15. Let's go. We got 50 people watching us. All right. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I'm just going to feed this to you from... Oh, you can hear the music, Pedro. Everybody, we're just getting started here. Had a little technical glitch this morning. Had to reset my sound driver at the Windows kernel level without resetting the computer. What a pain in the ass that is.
I've got the douchey green glasses on today. What's up? How you guys doing? Good to have all y'all. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Little Austin Powers.
All right, everybody, let's get this show started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this award-winning show called DYOR Live. Put it on your calendar, put it in your schedule, share and like the comments, do everything you need to do on the social media to get the word out about this great show. As usual, my buddy Pedro Garcia is in the box next to me, bringing you the great analysis, the market conditions, the pricing, and telling you how to make your bags fat. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Like fat bags, not small bags. Anyway, it's June. Almost blew it again. June 5th, 2025. Oh. We're almost halfway to Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. It's almost there. The stores are moving in the Christmas trees already. Getting ready for that consumerism to go, and the consumerism, as we said yesterday, is actually slowing down and might lead to a little stagflation, which we haven't seen in a long time. Rising prices with lowering activity, stagflation. Not good. We also have the topic of the day, which is just unfortunately, the big, beautiful bill that's going to make us broke. As I say, Elon tried. He tried, Pedro, he tried. But anyway, before we get into it, Pedro Garcia in the house. What's happening, Pedro?
What's up, my peoples? It is good to have all of you guys. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. It's a big, beautiful day where I'm at. It's finally starting to get a little hot over here. And we've had some cool weather here. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the market. It is being fun, and I'm expecting it to move here. We've been the old crypto pair screener is disappearing very soon.
Well, Pedro, in Ottawa here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Ottawa, Ontario right now. And not right now, this is where I spend much of my time. And it's hazy out, but not from clouds, but from smoke. It's like being at Woodstock in the 60s with so many people smoking. And instead of people smoking, it's forest fires. It's forest fire season. And there's a lot of forest fires in northern Ontario, and Manitoba, in that last low pressure system that does a big counterclockwise system when you look at the Weather Channel, that we're in that part of it where it brings stuff down from the north, and and people are walking around with masks on. Mrs. Striking and I were outside. We're like, man, why have people got masks on? There's no like massive pervasive sickness thing going on. And then all of a sudden we're like, wow, wood burning. So it's really weird. It's weird. It's got a little reddish hue to the air.
Oh no, they did not.
I was gonna say the reddish hue, kind of like the money being burned here with with Elon's attempt at trying to save us money. Oh, I also just made money in a short I was on in Bitcoin, so that's nice. I'm just gonna close that out right now. Made $30, Pedro. How about that?
I love it. I love it. Man, that sucks so much. They just did this. How did I know they were going to do it again?
What you talking about there, Pedro? What you talking about?
Trading View just screwed. They just screwed us over again.
You know, Pedro,
I really don't.
sometimes,
I'm honestly.
Sometimes I need to think that it's not TradingView. They can't screw everyone every day and there be no tweets about it or anything or no complaints. So maybe there's something on your settings that's changing it. Because you can change your close for your candles to any second of any day of any.
You cannot. No, you cannot.
Yeah, you can.
You are completely wrong in this. You don't know what you're talking about.
I just watched the video on
it. Yeah, you cannot change the actual period in time in which it transitions from a 4-hour to 2-hour. You cannot line those up.
No, not those. Not those. But you can change.
Those are the most important thing.
You can change whether your day closes at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. or 12 p.m.
Regardless of it closing on those dates, all you're doing is changing the time frame right here. You cannot change the closing time frame. You cannot.
Well, the time closes when the CME closes, or when your market closes. I must not be understanding what you're telling me.
Right, that's exactly. I don't want it to close on those time frames. I want it to close on the time frames that I want. And crypto used to be, oh, this sucks, dude. And then, so they have a new screener here system, and please, okay. All right, I get it now. So I see what they're doing. So this then goes here.
Pedro, 2 weeks ago we had the glasses with the little pinholes in them, and today we have the green glasses. It's the flash.
It is a flash. These glasses actually help with cortisol level, and so that I don't want to reach through the freaking screen and grab somebody by the neck. So that's why. What's up, Fire Chicken? Seeing us over there in Rumble. I can't help it, man. Go look it up. Your hue that you look through can affect your cortisol level, your stress level hormone.
Well, I'll tell you what. I always wear these colored glasses because the look in them is what I like. It calms me. And at night, I have the cyberpunk look going in the apartment. I have the purples and pinks going in the lights because when I have the regular lights on, I always used to attribute it to my contacts that I wear just at night, just having a glare on them I didn't like.
Nope.
And then for a long time, I don't really need to wear contacts. Like for everyday stuff. When I drive, I like to wear them. And then I was like, wait, I don't have my contacts in, and I still got that feeling. Flip on the cyberpunk lights, and blammo! Everything is great.
Not just blam, but blammo.
Blammo.
Blammo, let's go. Shout out to our people over there at Rumble. Thank you guys for coming in today. We've got 15,
using the whole fist talk?
I'm about to call it. What up, Dr. J? Dr. Fire Chicken is in the house. ¿Qué pasa, señor? Órale, vato. Yeah, I'm just being a dork over here. Good
Thanks to everyone watching us on Rumble. We have a big starting crowd here. I'm guessing it's because of our thumbnail talking about Elon. And
we're going to talk about Elon.
We're going to talk about that later when we get into a little talk about the failure of the U.S. Congress to rein in spending. And there's obvious reasons why. They're not just trying to stick it to us. They're trying to get shit done, and it just doesn't work out right. But anyway, before we do that, we got to hit the markets. Pedro, BTC been a little crazy over the past 12 hours or so. What's happening with Bitcoin?
Yeah, so let's talk about this here real quick. So we've talked about how I do expect it to go down, right? And like these levels here down at the 100, because remember, we're creating the monthly wick. And so typically the monthly wicks are a bit bigger than most, right? And so even though on a daily, we're like, oh, wow, we just had a huge sell-off. But if you think about it, it's got to create this wick right here, right? Like we are like, oh no, it's sold off. Oh no, right? These are monthly wicks. And so we've got to create like that monthly wick. And so it's got to go down to that 8 period or a weekly period. So like this is where we talked about that 100 to 95 area, 91, 95, and 100. So this would be a weekly wick right here that we're coming down to. So we're seeing the play. It's not, we expected something like this. I said expected. If we want to see a good rally into the month, we want to see it come down that first week to second week, right? Oh, there we go. Then we got to move this here right here, which means that I need to do this. Boom. Nope, wrong way.
Sorry, I was just needed to get myself some more light here. I may have those messed up here so that they're not, so all of your windows are not centered the same.
Okay, it's okay. It's all right. There we go, guys. All righty then. Woohoo! Yeah, baby.
Hold on,
yeah.
I can check it to see if it's my fault or
it's
not.
Okay. We working through it, bud. We're working through this. It's all good.
Yep, see, all centered now. All right.
Love it. I love it. Like McDonald's, baby. Yeah. Okay, so let's check this out here real quick. Now, I'm just giving you guys heads up. I woke up this morning not feeling the top jovial self that Pedro normally feels. Righty, I'm feeling a lot better, but maybe halfway through, I might start to see a little energy drop. If so, just type in the chat saying, "Let's go, brother. Come on. Let's go, brother.
You can do it."
Be like, I want to be American. Fight for my rights, my country. Anybody? Anyways, okay. Let's go, brother. Let's focus here on good old Bitcoin, and then I can go on my little weird rants here in a second. So you can see here that we're coming down here to this level here, that 100 area. And I'm expecting us to hit that liquidity point around that 100E10 area. Now, based off whatever coin you are using, right? Whether it's, you can see this, like I'm gonna type this in here real quick. So you can see here, this is Binance's. If you use crypto.com, you can see down here on the right hand side, these are the purveyors of this coin that you may buy called Bitcoin. And did I use it correctly? Purveyor? That sounded correctly. Just came at the top.
I just go with your words.
You're like, yeah, it sounds good, Pedro. Okay, so here is crypto.com. Here you can see here, this is their price. And you can see here, you kind of have the same thing on all of them right here. This is a weekly chart. And this is that liquidity pool right here on their chart. And you can see we got the 8-period moving average. Theirs is 10,331. So this is important because when we hit that, this is going to be we should see some violent push up. Okay. And so I want you guys, I am going to be taking this trade. And so if you guys want to take it, you may take it. It all depends on what you want to do. But this portion here, coming down here to this liquidity point, again, the reason why I'm bringing up crypto.com chart is that depending on your exchange, you need to make sure that you're looking at that price point. And what we're looking at is the weekly chart. And we're seeing here that this little, if you look at your weekly chart, the week of May 12th, back here, below this level here, which is different than my normal one that I use, right? You can see here that this is, the price point is different, but the same portion of that week is what I'm still looking at for a trade here. So again, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a decent trade here. We should see a pump kind of come up from here. Now, obviously, my other chart here, right over here for BTC, this one is a little bit different, as you can see, but it's still the same area here, right? So I want to make sure that you guys understand what's happening here in the market. So when the market starts to come down to this point, you can take advantage of this trade here and then basically look to go long. Basically, the 8-period moving average, you're going to see buyers step in at that level. And additionally to that, as it's coming down, it's going to trigger all these sell positions. Hence, buyers will take the other side. Institutions will take the other side, because whenever there's a sell in the market, you need a buyer to come in and absorb that. And so that buyer, whether it's institutions or whether it is whomever, they're going to come in and they're going to absorb that. So I think it's going to be institutions that go through. But ultimately, this is what I want to give to you guys so you can take advantage of this trade. Okay. And then just be ready for it if it happens. Remember, what we're looking for is it once we hit it to see it kind of turn around. Now, it may not come this week, may come next week. Right, but what we're looking to see is something like this. Let's go to the 5-minute here, and so you can see it. Yeah, baby, yeah. All right, so here's a good little example of this play. See how we saw it come down? Here's a liquidity pool on an intra time frame, right? Intra means intraday, right? So intraday time frame. You can see here that the day went up, or excuse me, here it is. The day came down first, then came back up. And so right here, you have a lot of people who are long at this point. And so they're going to get their stops taken. This is a liquidity run or a stop run. And you can see they come down, boom, and then they push it up. So let's look and understand how this trade will most likely go. I'm actually going to play this from... Let me give some Binance, so it'll be easier. So you see more liquidity here. Come on. Honestly, I'm thinking about switching my BTC to liquidity on Binance. All right, so this is it right here.
I would say that's a good idea, but I have no idea what that means.
Meaning, like, remember each exchange sells Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Right? And so based off of that exchange and its volume, is what allows a chart to really, really, really do well. So for example, if it has low liquidity, then that means that the market is going to most likely have a lot of slippage and your entries will kind of suck. Whereas if you go to an exchange and where it has a lot of liquidity, you'll
get your price.
Most likely, exactly. And your stop will most likely be able to hold because there's more people defending that area for you.
Right.
So that's why. So let's go ahead and go here real quick. So this is the setup that we're looking to play here. Ding, 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 ding. Where was it?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you got any questions out there, you Rumblers, you YouTubers, you LinkedIners, you Xers, you Twitchers, any questions, let us know. Drop them in the comments. This is an interactive show. This is not recorded like most crypto videos out there. We're live and answering questions. Feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. We are an education and entertainment channel, otherwise known as Edutainment.
Edutainment. I didn't know if you're looking at me. Yeah, so please do. Now, we're going to talk about Elon here in just a second, as well as with Elon, President Trump, and that whole entire circumstance is currently happening. Basically, President Trump's statement that he said, which was absolutely crazy. So please stick around, but I want to give you guys a little bit alpha here in relationship to the trading aspect so that you guys can also take advantage of this as well. So let's look at it like this. So we saw the market open up around here. You can see here the market open up around I call 1600 or 1800 because that's the CME open, which is really important. Okay, so you can see right here that it opens up. So right here on this open, you're having people that are basically looking to have their entry. And this is a good little trade for you to go look at and ponder while you work. So you can see here, this is the CME open. The CME open typically has...
On which day or every day?
This is kind of every day, but it still plays. This is June 2nd. And so you can see here that we came down. You can see we first opened up straight up.
As a Monday at 6. It was after their maintenance hour. Was that the time you're talking about?
Yep. So this is after the Monday, and this is opening the first opening for Tuesday. So it's the first part opening up. Now it's still Monday, but this is the Tuesday candle.
Right.
Okay. So because it opens up that Monday, at 4 o'clock, the market closes. But on the CME futures, it opens back up at 8 o'clock or at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Time. Sorry about that, bud. Eastern Time. Yeah, I did. I'm one of these days going to nail that. So you can see here, this open there are stops underneath. There's people who are long here, and so there's stops sitting right here on that day because they're open to get the full day long. So you can see here the market then taps these entries or these stops here that are sitting right here, okay? And that's where the purple line is. And so then from there you can see it comes down, taps it, pulls everybody up, and then you can see we see it continue up, okay? And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is you can see that we're actually starting to put in some buyer wicks here. We got above the 8-period moving average. You can see it's starting to put in buyer wicks. So that's what we're looking to do, as when we hit the liquidity pool, we want to see price come in with good volume. You can see we had good volume coming in, and all of a sudden, as buyer wicks are coming in, you can sit there and say, okay, my stop is right here. It's going to be the local high, or excuse me, that local low. And this is for the play that we're coming up to. Okay, and I want this to be, because this potentially could be a monthly low on Bitcoin, and that's why I'm bringing this up, so you can catch that trade all the way for a full month, right? And so that's why we're setting this up. So you can see here again, that's what I'm looking at. This is not entertainment,
Right.
or this is not financial advice.
Or yeah, let me run that. Let's run that banner too.
Yeah. All right, so you can see here as we come down, you can see here that we're starting to see an increase in volume here, right? Boom, as we're popping up. And then you saw it come down. There's not a lot of supply wicks here, right? We talk about that all the time. Right? Are there seller wicks coming in? No, they're not, right? Boom. So you can see here that it's a clean run up. So as we come and hit this, then we see volume come in and we're like, oh snaps, let's go. And then from there, you can see it pop like it's hot, come back down, pick up stuff, and we see it kind of continue up here for a full day. Right? And then you have another similar circumstance that actually happens, which is right here. So this is the next day, right? And again, here's the next day. This is 1800, excuse me, right here. Here's 1800. We see it go up, boom, come down. They get stopped out, and then they try to push it up, but then the sellers win, right? So they drop it, boom, like it's hot, and then they continue it down. But ultimately, you can still sit there and play that area where you can sit there and catch that little trend. And the similar situation, that strategy still runs the same way. You can see here that we see volume come in as we hit that 6 o'clock open right here. Boom, we see it get above the 8. We start to see volume come in, and then it continues up. Again, we want to do at least a 3-to-1 ratio, and you can play this a lot of times. Now, the most important thing to look at here is you want to see a trend developing. So I want to see that price get above the 8 with good volume as it continues up with buyer wicks, right? Those are the bottom wicks as you look here. And so I want you guys to go through, do your own back testing, set up your own trending systems and how you guys set it up. But I want to offer that as a strategy for you guys to play. All righty. That's it in a nutshell for this play for us.
Pedro, let's just look at what happened today, since basically midnight.
All right, so let's
on
check
Bitcoin.
it out. Now, like I said, I am long-term very bullish. I'm even midterm bullish, right? I think we're coming down here to these levels here and expect it to come up. Now, I think what's important. And this is boom. This is other.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. So because we have the crossover here and we came up and we pushed up into the sellers here, you can see here that we were putting in seller wicks. We had a decent seller wick here on both of these. And then today came back up, hit. We saw it go up. And if you look at it today, you can see here that we put a giant wick in on the upper side. So that's the buyer wick, right? And you can see here from today, if we go from the open, and I call it the CME open, right, which is going to be 1800 here. 1800. Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. Right there. Okay. So that's the open. We're gonna make that blue. All right, and these colors let me know kind of the the movements, or what each color has a different meaning. So my blue is typically the open, and I like to see it. So you can see here that for the day here, we went up, we kind of went sideways, we dropped down, right? And so we came up, right? So the opening here, you had a smaller demand wick, right? Compared to most Bitcoin wicks, right? So I would expect it then to come back down. You can see here, as we skyrocketed up, I was actually trading this last night. A lot of this stuff here, actually, which one? No, not that one. This one right here was doing, no, this right here. This is what it was.
Hold on, Pedro. Mikester, you're telling us the video is pausing and jumping around. If anyone else is having experiencing that, let me know. On my end, I'm not showing any. I'm showing all green candles for me in the broadcast meters. Mikester, maybe you've got a local internet problem. If anyone else is seeing Skippy video or something like that, let us know, please.
Please, 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 please do not hesitate. Always, guys, come and let us know. Again, we are a live show. I want to keep you guys happy so that you guys can stay in that good frame of mind so you can hear what I'm saying, right? And that's really important to me. All right, so you guys can see here that as we're coming up, you can see that we weren't really putting in a lot of demand wicks, and we were putting in more supply wicks as we're moving up here. And so for me, as I start to see this here, I'm definitely looking at going, okay, I'm expecting to go down. Now it could have gone up, but we had a pretty decent wick here. And we've already, if you look at this, remember, we had the crossover here and these daily wicks, right? So we would have had a small demand wick, like we would not have had this. It would have been a small demand wick. We would have been a big body, something that looks, imagine something that kind of looks like something like this. But you can see we were below these moving averages, okay? And so I am a trend trader. So I want to stay in conjunction with the trend. So if I'm looking at the market to get in with the trend, you can see here that we're getting, that it's bears that are taking over. And I said, remember on the monthly chart, we're creating the demand wick.
Right.
Right? This wick here. This is a daily chart. And we're creating something like this on the monthly chart. And that's where we can see right here. That's this right here. Right? And so that I say that's why I'm like that 95 area, that 91 area, because we could basically get a bunch of liquidity right here. They could stop out everybody from last month, right? And they're just like, darn it, right? But they're, that's why I'm looking at that 91 and 95, potentially 100,000 area. And the reason why we said 100,000, right, is because that is the area for liquidity wise that you can sit there and say that we're playing off of the weekly chart. Remember, they all play with each other. They all ping pong off each other. So they really have a lot of fun here, right? And this is why you're like, why didn't we keep going up? Because you had a higher time frame or higher time frame indicator that it was bouncing off of, right? I tell you, they all play together. They all hold hands together and walk simultaneously together, and just like a kid, like a family, right? If you look at it, each time frame, and I want to make sure you understand this, a kid typically has every 5-10 minute attention. Parents or teenagers typically have about every 2-3 hour time frames, right? They can stay focused. An adult, which is like a daily, can have a daily to weekly time frame focus. And so within the father or the mother basically moves the kids, right? And understanding that they feed off each other. And so if you're trying in a day to make a to create or to get to the point what you're trying to do, you've got to understand how your kids play off each other, right? So you have to play like that. In the same sense, look at it like the monthly, it controls the weekly. The weekly controls the daily. Okay, that daily controls the intra time frames. And so if you understand how they all play, that's why you get that zigzag or that zigzag. Thank you, Zigzag. I don't know why I said zigzag.
You were probably thinking of whipsaw.
That's exactly that whipsaw zigzag side. So, and that's why you have the market the way it plays. And so right now you have a short-term trend down for that month, creating that wick for that month. And so you can sit there and see I've got these areas here to capitalize on it. Now, ultimately, because we're starting to go down here, I am looking to start to short this market on a daily basis. Okay, meaning intraday time frame shorts, because the market's starting to go down now. So I wait for it to come up to short it so it can go down. Okay, and so that's what we're looking at here. So if you look at today, you can see that we're starting to put in some shorts are starting to come in. Doesn't mean that it is a bear market. It just means that they're running out of sellers as we're moving up. So they have to create the sellers so the buyers can get absorbed. And that's what's actually happening here. So you can sit here and see this. It's actually pretty cool as it's coming down. And you can see right now we have an intraday trend starting to happen off of that 8. But again, whatever trending indicator that you use, make sure that you have clear, concise rules so that you can take advantage of those trending days. Okay. So that's it in a nutshell. I know I just gave you guys a lot. If you have any questions.
All right, back to what I asked 10 minutes ago. I said, could you put the chart up from midnight?
From midnight?
Yeah, that's what I said. Just.
Okay, I don't know what you're asking.
The chart from, just put up the 5-minute chart.
Okay, boom. 5-minute chart.
Yeah, I hear it expanded a little bit here. Yeah, okay. So I want to just share something with you that happened to me overnight. So I've been going. I sit here and listen to you talk, and I write notes and that type of stuff, and I tried to go through and reread my notes because they're in all different pages of my book. I've got the, as I call it, the great book of rug pulls here, but all of our show notes and stuff are in it. And so I was going back, reading through that, reading through other things and stuff like that. And one of the nuggets that I left off there is, pay attention to the London session to see what's going on today. Not talking about longer trends, just talking about the short term, what's likely going to happen on that. And so I was looking at it, and if you can see me bring myself up a little bigger here.
There we go.
Whoops, that's the wrong. I made Pedro bigger. Right. I noticed that on the. Ooh.
It's right here. You got giant Tom.
I don't know where I am here. Let's see. Guess it's behind me now.
I do not know.
You know what? I'll just bring my chart up.
While Tom is doing that, I want to ask you guys, we are trying to really take advantage of the Rumble Studio system. And so if you guys could do us a favor, if you watch us, if you guys could come in, create a profile, you don't need to pay for it, but by going into Rumble, we have quite a few heads kind of watching us, which I'm excited about, which is really cool. You guys could log in, create a profile, which is free, and just hit the subscribe. We need about 200 subscribers so that we can really take part in what's actually happening with the Rumble Creator Program. So if you could do us that quick favor, that would be absolutely awesome. Go ahead, bud.
All right, so last night, this is the London trading time here, and that's the period between kind of midnight Eastern time, if I'm correct, like midnight and 5 a.m. Eastern time, or 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. depending on what your personal range is. And that's when the volume in London is really going, and it's kind of like the 7 to 11 a.m. session in New York here. And if I go astray here, Pedro, correct me if I go wrong. I like talking through these things because it helps me learn them. But it's not quite as, the volume and liquidity is not quite. New York's the best market, but it's really good. London has a very good market. And notice the big sell-off here. Boo! Like that. Just went right down during that session, and that's the biggest trading day, part of the trading day for essentially Europe in that time frame. and that usually gives you a signal like, something is up. There's a liquidity sweep. What's going on here? Why are they taking everyone's money? And Pedro says this all the time. Why are they taking your money?
Because they need stops.
Right, because they need the liquidity for orders, and they want to also push down before they go up. Right, that's what Pedro, the man in the box, says all the time. And so I'm watching this over here. I notice just a couple little things, but then it starts going all right. It's 5 a.m. now. I wake up and I'm like, all right. I don't know why I woke up at 5 a.m., but I was wide awake. So I came out, sitting in front of the computer. I'm looking through the notes again, and I'm playing on the demo account now. And I'm like, I'm just going to put in a little trade here, do something a little different, because I was actually trying to figure out the fees that are charged for. I've been doing a bunch of trades that have nothing to do with trading. I'm just opening stuff to see what fees I get charged, trying to compare things and stuff like that. And so I opened up a high leverage trade for only like $30 or something like that. I wanted to see what kind of fees were. And then it gets to be about 7 o'clock or so or something like that. And I'm like, morning nap time. So you go back to bed. Get up about 9 o'clock. They get up about 9 o'clock. Now 9 o'clock on this chart here is right here. right where the peak is. Right there. That's 9 o'clock. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, my vision's a little blurry. I'm like, is that right? Well, let's see. Let's see what the results were of that. $1,527 in the positive for a single trade. All because I was testing fees and I went to sleep on it. I took a 200x leverage long, and I wanted to see how much do they charge you, $19 or $2 or whatever. Didn't matter. It wasn't a real trade. I was just looking at fees. Went to sleep, woke up, $1,500 richer. Oh, if you notice, it does say demo account. I'm not risking that type of money on a trade like that. But it didn't matter. The morning started out great. Just euphoria, a winning trade. Pedro got the dopamine hit, but you know what I didn't do after that? I didn't get stupid and just say, I'm going to open up a trade. Everything's great. I didn't let my emotions get a hold of me. Even though it's demo account, made $1,500 really on the accident. But still, I'm like, woo, $1,500. But I held off doing anything because someone would have said, "Oh, Elon, Tom, it's time to trade." Well, I watched another YouTuber do this right at the top of up here. If you change time frames to like the I don't know, whatever time, I'm not going to be able to repeat what they said, but they're like, it's doing another trading pattern. And let's get in it long. And they put $1,000 into it and lost it in 2 seconds. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't lose $1,000, but this person did. And I was like, that was letting the emotion get to you. And how many times you beat this into my head? Remember, this is a business. It's not your neighborhood HOA association meeting. It is entirely something you need to keep your emotions out of. And so I was happy with myself for not FOMOing today and following someone else. And even though I had that full-on dopamine hit that you talk about all the time of a big winning trade, even though it was demo and fake money, didn't matter. It didn't matter if it wasn't even skill. It was just testing it out. But I felt that to be an epiphany this morning. I was like, I actually looked at what this person was doing and I said, no. That's not right. That's it. First of all, you don't buy the top of this candle ever, right? Is that a general rule, Pedro? Would you say? Oh, you're on mute.
So if you see something like that, it is something that you need to be mindful. Now, here's the key, right? Is how far are you away? People like to use an RSI. and looking at divergence. Again, I use moving averages for myself. If I start to see the moving averages really start to separate, right, I know most likely it's going to pull back here, right? So I'm not apt to just to jump in. You can see here it's pushing away, and separation of the, for me, it's a sign of divergence coming into the market, right? And so for me, I'm like, I'll just wait and see. If it continues, it'll pull back and I'll go up, I'll go long. But yeah, you nailed it perfectly. Be a little concerned. And mind you, this is at the open, right? So you can see the market, pre-market opens up at 8 o'clock. So they're pushing the market up potentially to drop it because they're going to get everybody to FOMO in.
And they did.
Right? And that's exactly what they do.
And if you look at Bookmap, it shows at 107,000 or 108,000 a ton of liquidity. There's a lot of stop orders there. So everyone thought, oh my God, it's going up there. It's going to go get that liquidity. And they faked them out. As soon as it started getting up that way, they said, not so fast, chumbalones, and sent it down all the way to the low right below me here. And obviously it's been working back up, but again, a trick and coming back down. Very, very tough day on the market for a day trader. The best trades today were either the lucky ones that I made and made a cool fake $1,500, or the best trade was no trade. Unless you're really skilled and saw this, and most of our viewers are not like Sir Pedro above us and quite skilled at this. Most of our viewers are like me and learning this, and so on days like this, a lot of times if you see shenanigans going on and you're not sure what's going on, the best trade is no trade. No trade. Preserve your capital. So that was what I was why I brought that up about my high leverage trade there. But anyway, Pedro, if there's anything else you got about Bitcoin, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to switch over into the Elon segment.
I do one last one because we were talking about taking also the ETH trade here, so I want to bring that up and we can go here real quick. I'll make this real quick for you guys because I remember we talked about trading this here, and so we are about to have a little fun here. All righty, boom, boom, boom.
Ethereum normally trades the same. Has been trading the same as Bitcoin. Not recently. Been trading on its own.
Mm-hmm. And so what's interesting is we are seeing it come down here. So we're kind of ping-ponging here. I've got this little trade we're kind of coming up into right now from last week's low. Okay, so you can see here that little area, this is going to be a weekly trade. We get around and I just went over this trade, right? So you can see here that we have last week's low here. We're coming up to potentially. If we sell off to it, be looking to take a part of that, okay, guys? We just went over that trade. That's liquidity there. You can play off of that and it'll be fun. So that's it in a nutshell.
Mike Stir, I got it figured out why you're having, it's only you having trouble, but it's not actually only you having trouble. For some reason I have the DVR function off on Rumble, on the Rumble stream. It has to do that they put that function in with the resolution settings, and every once in a while, because if I turn their DVR off, it has higher resolution. Not that super high resolution matters for this. It's not sports or fast moving stuff here. But anyway, it's my settings, and I'll try and remember to ensure that the DVR is enabled, because obviously people come in at the end of this thing and want to scroll back or something like that. Let's see, let me type this out. All right, let's start talking about, this should be a good conversation. I don't want to go on a long time about this, Pedro.
Okay.
But just kind of hit the things for to get some talking points out there, as they say. Okay. Like I said, the theme of the show is the Elon Musk story about, where is it? Let's just power up into it, Pedro. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. The story of the day is this, what I have on the screen right now. Elon tried. He tried, Pedro. He tried valiantly. He tried. We spoke a little bit about this yesterday. The man actually sacrificed not only a whole bunch of Cybertrucks and Tesla cars. He sacrificed $100 billion. He lost almost as much in value as personal wealth as he saved the U.S. government in the Doge process, which is kind of agreed upon to be close to $200 billion right now. It likely will go up a little over time, but not after this new congressional spending bill kind of comes out. For those of you that I'm sure many of you know, in the U.S. we have what's called omnibus bill authority, in which the Congress can pass a giant bill with all kinds of stuff in it. Just whatever, they can put the kitchen sink in it. What's that?
I thought that was supposed to get kicked off because of the Chevron act that was passed.
When Matt Gaetz and crew forced Mike McCarthy out as speaker, that was one of the things they said. We want single issue bills. And then Mike Johnson said, yes, single issue bills. It turns out single issue bill for Mike Johnson is everything. Well, it's all related to the budget. It's budget oriented, so it's single issue. And they're like, no, single issue means we have a vote for each thing. Yeah. Obviously, you can't do that for the U.S. government. You have to combine some things, but this one's crazy.
Dude, this. Go ahead, keep going.
It's actually batshit crazy. The amount of money we're spending here, and you hear Pedro and I, we go on a lot talking about the national debt. First of all, the deficit each year, the budget deficit, how much we're short each year, and then the national deficit. And then we hear people in the government, especially the previous administration with Janet Yellen, testifying in front of whoever wanted to listen to her, that everything was fine. It was like the Biden administration when they said, there's no problem at the border. Everything's fine. It's going according to plan. And it's a complete dumpster fire. And Janet Yellen did the same thing. There's interviews out here, her testifying, oh, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, the amount of debt is no problem. Oh, yeah, the fact that we're spending $5 trillion a year on interest or whatever the number is, yeah, that's no big deal. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Well, it turns out it is a problem. It's depreciating our dollar a lot. Well, it's one of the reasons that our dollar's depreciating. And Pedro, if you recall from our conversation yesterday, I talked about how people that have pensions, you guys listen over here on Rumble, if you have a pension or a 401k plan, unless your 401k plan is making more than the S&P 500 and more than inflation, as long as your retirement plan is making more than inflation, then you're getting ahead in life. If not, you're losing money. Literally losing money. If inflation's at 7.5% and the average return on the S&P for that year is 3.8, you've lost 3.5% of the dollars, as if you took 3% out of your retirement fund and burned it. Just burned it. It's no different. Yeah, it's no different. You lost your buying power and you lost value. You think, oh, it's up. The statement says more.
Literally
I'm up.
Stealing from you. They're literally stealing from you.
They're 100% literally taking your money because they know it devalues the currency. It's not like they were like, there's a lot of government policies where many years down the road, they're like, oops, we didn't see that. Let's fix it. They know when they run the money printer, it takes wealth away from you. And why?
You.
Right, you.
Me.
You.
Him, right there.
And it's a big deal. And it's complicated. It's complicated economics and government policy, but you don't have to worry about that. It's because you got Pedro and I here telling you what it is. But you don't have to tell us. You can read your own. You can ask Grok. You can whatever. The point is when they print money, you lose money. And if you're on a salary, like here, let's a good example. I was just reading a thing about the Chicago Plumbers Union, whatever the union the plumbers are in Chicago. They were getting a cost of living adjustment or a raise or whatever it was in their contract of 2.5%, and that they finally agreed to it. Inflation the past year has run around between 5 and 7%. So they got a 2.5% raise, but they actually lost almost 4%. 3 to 4%. They actually are getting paid less this year than last year, even though they want a contract increase. And that is because the guys in Washington pressed the print button. Now, Pedro, I'm going to go on about this. I could go on forever on YouTube, but I'm going to ask a succinct question here. Why do the politicians keep doing it when they know it's wrong?
Well, because they can't let, they can't allow old ladies, and this is how it's painted, old ladies and orphans to starve in the streets. And so they have to feed them.
That's true, but that's not $37 trillion or whatever. They have to do that because they see no other way to get reelected.
Or this is what I'm trying to say, is they will get painted to look like as if they are like you voted against this bill which was going to feed XYZ, and then all of a sudden you now look like the evil man who stopped your kids from eating, in a sense, and that's the evil man who caused it. And so their opponent will sing the horrible atrocities to you guys, not telling the full truth.
Right.
Of like, he's actually trying to make sure that your paycheck doesn't get eaten by inflation.
Well, the problem really boils down to what's going on here where we are. We are broadcasting today on Rumble, on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and stuff like that. But it's really with the cable news channels and the internet channels like ours that focus on the bad news. And they focus, like, as soon as someone votes against anything or does anything, even sorta like not awesome, doesn't have to be bad, it just has to be not awesome. The news channels run, Representative Hurley, he hates babies, diapers are going to go up because of his tax policy or whatever like that. So he hates babies. And for some reason, that resonates with people that vote. They're like, he hates babies, so I'm not going to do that. And so politicians spend all of their time trying to get reelected. And in the old days, it didn't cost that much to get elected. You could spend, just people in your district would raise money and elect who they wanted. And if there was a competition, maybe a little outside money would come in here and there. But now, millions, like when Ted Cruz's seat was up in Texas, what was it, $500 million were poured in by both sides in there? The money is big. That was for a Senate seat. The one House of Representatives seat, was it Matt Gaetz' old seat or something like that? I can't remember what it was. Maybe someone can let us know. It was massive, the amount of money they put in. For someone that holds a seat for 2 years, they had to raise an average of $250,000 a day. A day. And so just to retain their office in these districts that aren't super, like in Oklahoma, you don't have to do that because everyone's going to vote red no matter what. But in a lot of these districts, like in Florida, where it could go either way, they spend so much money. And thus what it leads to is it leads to politicians not wanting to create any bad news. And any chance they can get, they appease their electorate. They bring in the pork. They try to more programs, more spending, so they can come on and say, look what I did. And people go, yeah, good guy, we're going to get him for that. And that's especially big in the tax breaks right now. I wish I had spent some time making graphics. But the tax breaks, we talked about this yesterday. Capital expenditures in the U.S. are low right now, temporarily while we wait to see how this tariff thing works out. A lot of companies buy machinery from overseas now. And because it's made in China, it's made in Asia. A lot of complicated machinery, including semiconductors, including the entire paper industry. All their machinery is made in Europe. So are there big taxes on? You buy a $20 million machine. Is there 25% tax on that now? Also, when you bring that over and install it, the government allows people to depreciate the entire amount in the first year. If that machine may be around with your company for 50 years, you can depreciate the entire amount in the first year. That's something like, I was just going over the numbers for it. It's something like $40 billion or something like that. Just in that one tax, things like that. I mean, I'm not going to go into a list of things because I know nobody here wants to do a list of things. But I really want to point out that these are all tax breaks to appease a lot of people. Now, the question is, Mr. Trump won with a big victory. In every demographic, our sister show, the Crypto Swamp Creatures, Justin Wallen is a pollster. He does the polling for these things. He was on our show saying, look, the Democrats are going to lose because the Hispanics are voting like crazy for Trump. And nobody believed him, and he was right. He called the election before everyone else. On this channel, I might add, ladies and gentlemen. And in every demographic, it turned out went up a lot. Mr. Trump, no doubt, did very well. The House of Representatives did well. They got a larger majority. The Senate, they took control of the Senate. But they didn't take 60 seats in the Senate. And that one rule that we have, that filibuster rule that allows any member of the Senate to stop whatever bill they want and without having to name their name, and it takes 60 votes to override it, causes trillions of dollars of debt because the majority party can't do what they want. Now, if you're in the minority party, you're like, we don't want the majority party to do it. We will do what they want. We like this check and balance. I get that. But in this case, the U.S. Congress had to give away an extra $3.7 trillion in pork and spending programs to get the 60 votes needed in the Senate to pass it. Now think of that, $3.7 trillion over 10 years. That's, $370 billion a year. That's a lot of money. Arguably, people are saying, well, we're going to make that up in tariffs. But each tariff deal that gets cut, that number comes down. And soon it'll be back to just normal, the normal, after they make tons of deals. Maybe we'll get more. Nobody knows. The Office of Budget and Management said that that's a number that they can't actually figure out, so they don't know what its effect is going to be. And so, before I kind of bring it up to general commentary, I bring this back to poor Elon. Now, poor Elon, you're like, well, the guy's got a couple $100 billion. He's not so poor and all this type of stuff. But one of the things, not just his money, the people at Tesla, because of the left-wing nut jobs here that have set all his cars on fire, and they're now saying, you can't even buy that stuff, it's so tainted. Yeah. There's people that lost their jobs, not because jobs were not needed. Their job, like the U.S. government, where they had entire divisions that duplicated other divisions, like the U.S. Peace Initiative Group and USAID did the same thing, just kind of secret slush fund money going out. There's people that were like doing this week, turning wrenches and operating computers and the robots and all that type, and supply chain management, and all those people who were working overtime trying to get stuff done. All of a sudden, they're telling their kids, sorry, we got to move back home or something like that. And only because Elon tried to help the U.S. government. Admittingly, he's a little autistic. Whatever the stories you think about Elon doesn't matter. A man went to... let me bring it to your level, Pedro. A man like... I'm not going to compare these two people. I'm just saying there's an analogy here. Jesus tried to help everybody, and they put him on a goddamn cross. And pardon my literal translation of that. And with Elon, he came in and tried to help everybody, thought he could do a job, and they burned his company down for it. It's the same thing. Thank you, Judas and Pontius Pilate. And it's an awful thing, and it's terrible. And then he works through that. He says, okay, I'm going to go back to work at my company. And then Congress says, thank you for doing that, Elon, but we're just going to spend an extra $3.7 trillion after all this time. Can you imagine sitting there, a person who's used to success? He's used to succeeding and not getting what he wants, but getting to his goal. And say, that's a goal. And to have someone just at the end of it go, see you later, chumbalone. So it's tough. It's tough to be out there doing that. And I have a first here, Pedro, and I'm going to switch to this just for a second before we get into an open discussion about this. We had enough viewers here on to qualify for, and if you're a Rumble viewer, don't go away right now. I got to do this while we have more than 20 viewers. There's an ad here for 1775. Accept and start. Let's just do this.
All right, go ahead. Just make us some money here.
I'm going to put it back on thing. Ladies and gentlemen, still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting a bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check. The smooth medium roast and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash at all. How about that? All single origin, small batch, toxin free and mold free. Plus you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. No, no, no. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. That's for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble. Wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee/studio. 1775.com/studio. For those of you watching, there's a QR code over Pedro's face. Sorry, Pedro, I got it on the wrong side of the screen. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 1770coffee.com/studio. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Thank you very much for going to that. That was our very first Rumble ad that I got to read. I felt like a 1950s variety show producer, or like, you know, you're on the. I can't even remember the 1950s variety
like
shows.
As if it was for,
because I was not alive in the 19th. I was alive in the 60s, but not in the 90s. So thank you very much for putting up with that. 1775 Coffee earned us 64 cents for reading that, Pedro. How about that?
There we go. Yay. So I also want to add this in real quick. And so we've actually are up to 22 people. Thank you guys for coming in and watching. If you're new here, we are a live show. Basically, we go over stuff, current major news. We also go over things like crypto related as well as market related, and we also go over just kind of where I think the market is going to go and trend. And so I try to give you guys good data so that, you know, in hopes that you can, if you decide to, again, not financial advice, but take advantage of that and make some income from it. If not, again, this is not financial advice. But again, we want to say thank you guys so much over there at Rumble. You guys are helping us out a lot. And I just want to say, guys, please, we're trying to build a network here. It's actually a news network. And from there, we want to be able to make sure that it's independent and free from any type of real influence from a financial
We want to be the influence. Pedro's the influence. Striking's the influence.
Yeah.
Not some crackpots in Washington, D.C.
that get told what to do and how to say things. So jumping back to Elon, and I think this is what frustrates me more than anything, is that Elon, because of the major media outlets, he was vilified. And we all, like, it was funny, I was talking to a guy who we had talked about Elon Musk, again, the common sense liberal that I speak about. And he started saying that Elon guy, he got rid of all those jobs. And I said, man, you were singing his praises literally 4 months ago, 3 months ago. And now you turned on him because of the right-wing or the left-wing media? Like, are you for real? And I go, again, I'm not 100% for Elon, but what he's doing here, he goes, how many people lost jobs? I go, how many of those jobs were duplicated, literally allowed to grow because of a downfall during Biden's administration that we talked about, like and because he watches the show. And I said to him, I said, bro, I love you, dude. Like, we're probably going to have kids, and, you know, from there, you know, I'm going to be on my porch, you know, 40 or 50 years drinking tea with you one day. Right. But the reality is this, is that for you to sit there and not acknowledge that the mainstream media vilified this man and got people to go after is criminal. It's like the same thing that we saw with far right media entities pushing to stop abortion. And then all of a sudden you see these huge bombers coming in after abortion clinics. It's the same thing, yet you won't acknowledge it. And he sat there and he's just like, he didn't know what to say. And he goes, no, it's not the same thing. I go, you're telling me that they're going through and they're literally in other countries as well as in this country bombing Molotov bombing of Like,
let's watch that word.
Tesla,
It's a no-go word.
oh shoot. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Dang it. We just didn't get demonetized. We're doing really well today. But what I'm saying is, this is the part that makes me mad. I think that both parties can swing so widely from far left and far right, and people actually give them airtime. And it frustrates me. The man was trying to lower this debt. I'm gonna point it right here.
Bring the debt up. Let's see that. For you new viewers out there, if you haven't been to usdebtclock.org,
yeah,
it has all the pertinent numbers you need to know. It even tells you how valuable you are as an American citizen.
Right here.
And you're getting less and less valuable, I might add.
I want to point this out right here. This is really wealth per citizen right here, how much you are worth. You're actually blocking it.
Oh, let me turn me off here.
Actually, no, you're good. No, you're good. Oh, all right. Okay, you're good. All right, guys. So if you guys check this out right here, this red line right here is literally how much you're worth. This includes all of the hidden wealth or asset that the American nation has. And so when you look at it and this is in real time, you are actually, this is what you're worth. This is the gold that we're mining for the actual US government that we pay into, right? And so what's frustrating is that as this grows, as this right here grows, and then this stays pretty much stagnant, that makes this right here worth less. Even though we're seeing it go up on a daily basis, it's actually going down because of the inflation, which is absolutely killing you. And I talk about this all the time, especially to our new viewers. If you're watching it, I want you guys to pay attention because it's really important. Understanding how the US private sector, these jobs right here, and the actual government jobs, right? And here it is, US. This is government employees and how much the government spends. This is almost directly related. This is almost directly related to that right there. And so it's important to understand how these numbers work. And it's not that hard. You just go through, if you understand basic economics, you'll see what I'm saying. You can go online, see how government spending versus their GDP, which is right here, and how much it costs for them to actually keep the government going. And this is where the biggest issue that we're having. And this is where it's missing. Like, and Elon Musk was really trying to make sure that it wasn't going to fall apart. I mean, that's how he was literally recruited by Lutnick, saying, hey, you find $1 trillion worth of savings, and I'll find $1 trillion worth of money coming in through tariffs and also GDP growth. And then with that, we should then be able to push down, again, this right here. This is U.S. debt.
And I might add, that's a great way to do it. You find these types of reductions, I'll find these types of increases, and it'll offset, and it'll be good, and it'll change the burden from U.S. taxing U.S. taxpayers' income from us, me and you, part of our monies, to other people that want to sell into the United States. It's a very good idea. Very good. But it needs to work.
Yeah, so it's just these little things that are really important to understand. And this is why we go over crypto, right? Like, and we've talked about how the crypto savings, like when you look at crypto, we can actually go back here with this site, and I really like this site. This is, again, usdebtclock.org.
I put the link to it in the comments of every platform that everyone's watching.
Okay. Please, go to it after. I want you to keep watching us, all right? So if you look at crypto, and you see the US dollar, so you can see right here on it, you can see right here, US dollar to crypto, as well as now, all right? So back in 2023, if you had crypto, okay, $1 of crypto, or you would need $9,000 or $9,300 worth of crypto to equal a $1 US dollar back in 2013. Okay. Now, this is where it's sitting. And at the beginning of the year, this was actually more or less. This was, I think it was like $6. But you can see here now, if you have $7 worth of crypto, it's equivalent to $1. $1. So you used to have $9,300 to equal $1 for crypto, or $1 of US dollar. Now all you need is $7 of crypto to literally equal $1 US dollar. And I think it's so important to understand that, because this is why we try to explain, if you understand what's happening from an inflation standpoint, it's really hard to inflate crypto, especially BTC, Ethereum. Just it's hard to do that because you need a thing called consensus consensus. And so you need literally 51% of people to agree on something. I mean,
Yabba Dabba. Sorry, Pedro. Yabba Dabba Do. Thanks for commenting and joining the stream and commenting. He comments: the country has been broke for 20 years. That's why we're 36 trillion in debt. It's been longer than 36 years. It's been since the Clinton administration. That was the last time we had a balanced budget. You can believe that the Clinton administration ended in the 90s. Well, it actually ended in the year 2000, but besides the point.
Where are you coming from? How'd you find us, Yabba Dabba Do?
Yeah, but let us know how I found you. Pixie's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Pixie. Pixie's been a guest on our show, and she will be again when she gets her health in order and her streaming in order and her house in order and a bunch of things in order. Welcome, Pixie. Thanks for joining us on X. Really appreciate it. We've been talking, the theme of the show today for everyone that's joining us is a good one, and it was a little bit more talking for us than Pedro and I are used to. But I think here's the Elon tried is the topic of the day. He tried. I'm going to expand on what you were saying, Pedro, about these numbers right behind me. Whereas the devaluation of the U.S. dollar, of your dollars in your pocket, they're worthless, and why we talk about crypto. Because crypto is a growing asset without an attached liability. And over the years, if you look at these numbers here, let's say it went from the equivalent of $9,000 to $7.
Actually, I'm gonna interrupt this here real quick because I want to show you. You can see up here if you look at my cursor, I'm gonna point this out here real quick. You can actually do a time machine right here. You can see this. Actually, I'm gonna make that bigger so you can sit there and see that. Boom, boom, and we're gonna do this here real quick so that you can see it. So this is right here. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second. So this right here, this spot right here is where we're gonna go back in time here, time machine, and we're gonna check out the actual. You can see the increase of crypto, and as the devaluation of the dollar back in 2020 that we saw during COVID, and you'll see what I mean in particular, right? And by looking at this right now, you can sit there and realize like, oh wow, and it's very clear. It's these are the numbers. So let me run these here real quick for you guys so you can sit there and see it. Boom, we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna go back in 2020 to see the actual numbers here, and you can see where is crypto, because I've been following this for a while. Did they take it down? I think they might have taken it down.
One of the best ways to explain it succinctly, Pedro, is that the US dollar compared to Bitcoin, and we'll use crypto in general, but Bitcoin's the dominant player in it. But since the year 2010 is when Bitcoin started. The US dollar has depreciated 99%. 99% against Bitcoin. And it's an unbelievable number. It means if you held, in theory, it's not real life, but in theory, if you had two $1 bills, one had a BTC sign on it, and one had a US dollar sign on it, the US dollar one would be worth 1 cent. 1 cent, and your Bitcoin would still be worth $1. Or the US dollar is worth $1, and the Bitcoin one is worth $99 or $100. However you want to look at it. And that's why we talk about it so much. And that's why we sit up here and try and educate you about it and say, you should be evaluating your own investment priorities here. And why we got so excited when the Trump administration came in and said, hey, we're going to be more pro-crypto because now mainstream American can get into it. Your retirement funds can get into it now. All this type of stuff because it's a growing asset. Doesn't matter the purpose. Forget the purpose of it for the first part of this talk. First part of this talk is that it's a growing asset that's over time has beat the US dollar by 99%. Think of that. The US dollar is devalued almost to zero compared to Bitcoin. And the second part of it is that it brings freedom to you to spend your money however you want. And as the government has more and more agencies and more people overseeing how you spend their money, you want to be able to do things without them involved. And that's another reason. The other reason, I mean, we can go on and on about crypto.
Well, I think one of the biggest key is that as we keep moving forward, governments around the world are going to keep distancing themselves away from us in relationship to our books. And if we want to keep the U.S. hegemon, right, strong and wanting people to really invest in it, we've got to be able to drop our U.S. debt, or we got to increase our GDP. Either or, we need one or the other. And if we can increase, and this is again for Elon Musk, right? Like, and the reason why I say this, or tech giants, we know that robots are going to be kicking and doing people's jobs.
Go back to current on this so people see the real numbers.
All right. Here are the real numbers. I've actually been taking screenshots of the U.S. debt for years. No joke. I've got like hundreds of them. They're in anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that if we can if Elon and many of the other tech individuals, as well as create new manufacturing jobs and where we can actually sell things from inside out as exports, that brings in income, which also increases this right here. So it's important to understand that as this increases, if it increases at a much quicker pace than this, then we can actually see huge growth, right? This is where people say they're growing. Now, there's only really a few ways that we really can see something of that nature, and that's really with two things. One, tech. It's really important for tech, right, to really pick up. We already see that Amazon is really starting to pick up their system for automation of delivery with robots. That was just announced, I think today or the other day. And additionally to that, there's also a lot of robots that are correlated that are planning in the next 5 to 10 years to really pick up. And so if we can sell these entities to people outside the United States, then we will really start to be able to just help our growth and allow this price tag is right. Oh, okay. You're good. You're getting good at that. You can see right here that this at this level is what needs to be done, because if we can't, then it's look at
scary. This freaking number up there, guys. Look at it.
Yeah, it's got to happen. And so this is what Elon was trying to do. This is literally what it's trying to is cause this to go down by literally fighting this right here, government employees, like through fluff, through repetitive jobs. In addition, he just got taken out, and it does break my heart to see that he was actually trying to help America. So my hope is that he doesn't give up on the people themselves, and that he can actually go through and create more industry, right? Like we're seeing Meta's really pushing hard on the VR and AR glasses. This is one that's really going to be big. Elon Musk, the ability for him to create a rocket systems that can actually go and mine. These are things they are actually talking about and want to do, right? We know, like Elon Musk has said, he wants to be able to go out and create a rocket mining system that goes out to the asteroid belt, finds raw materials, and be able to bring them back to Earth. And so these things are a big deal. And if he could really nail down these things, it could help out America by literally bringing it to the American people, and us being basically the purveyor of production around the world. So these are things that are like, and I know this sounds absolutely far-reaching, and I'm getting feedback.
I just played the eagle scream when you said America, so I probably didn't feed that back to you.
So yeah, it's still there.
I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
It's all right. All right. So I think it's important to understand that as an industry, like the old adage in which is said by John F. Kennedy, right? Ask not what you can do, or ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Meaning, look, the best way to really see America get strong again is create industry, to go out and start businesses, really work hard. And what we're seeing, at least with the Trump bill, that they're really laxing on overtime, they're really relaxing on tips, and they're trying to allow for pro-business to really develop, for small businesses to really grow on that pro-business. Well, hopefully, right? Because again, it's still got to pass certain things, and it's just it's scary, but at the same time, like, I do have some hope with it, but at the same time, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because Trump got into office literally because he campaigned on he's going to lower the debt. He's going to go through and push this stuff. That he's going to take out pork within these bills. He was, and it's just
very, very frustrating when it doesn't happen, Pedro. Because it's frankly one of the reasons why I voted for him. I mean, first of all, the disaster of the last administration was one thing. You know, there's all sorts of disasters with that. But admittingly, the stock markets and everything did fine. You know, and everybody's saying, hey, the markets were great and better than blah, 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 all this type of stuff. One of the reasons why was they were doing the money printer back then, too, and that money has to go somewhere. It ends up in Wall Street. I've been a proponent of smaller government for a long time because of this. I was just trying to put together a poll to see if we could put a poll together, and we couldn't on Rumble. But which do you think we spend more on? And if any of you in the comments want to do this, just write the comment. Do we spend more money on our awesome military, the greatest military the world has ever seen, or just paying interest to other people so we can borrow money?
Yeah, it's. I would rather see, or if anything, how about not just military, but just tech? Like, look, we need to create the first real ASI. If China gets it, then, and if China is the first one to develop it, do you understand then that a communism mindset will be propagated throughout the whole entire world? Because that ASI and AGI will push that out. And we saw it, or we understand how advertising works already, just simply on Elon. Now, this idea that we're seeing with just this bill, I'm just saying, I'd rather see money go into tech. I'd rather see a Manhattan type project for ASI to get there first than for it to go into paying people back or into the military. Because the reality is, he who gets to ASI first wins, hands down. He who gets to AGI wins, hands down. It's the idea of he who got back in the 1940s to the nuclear bomb wins, hands down. It's that level of severity here. And if you don't understand it, please go look up ASI, AGI, artificial intelligence. So, that's my rant. Quiet now. By the way, you guys who are listening, see you guys. If you guys could, please log in, create a profile, make a comment. We'd love to have you. We're trying to really build this.
The dying cats.
Yep. Which really sounds like a pretty melodic sound. But if you guys could just log in, you don't need to buy a subscription with Rumble. Just log in, create a profile, make a comment. Please hit the like and share button. That helps us out immensely. Please do it. That helps us out. We're a small independent news network, and we're just trying to really kind of build. And we appreciate every one of you guys. So please help us out if you don't mind, please.
All right, Pedro. We were right on the edge of being allowed to run another commercial, but no can do. I was going to use that as a segue to go back to leave our poor friend Elon off to a new chapter in his life of building more rockets and conquering the world's technology problems, and finish off the show with kind of talking about crypto again and what's up and what's not and stuff like that, or not just crypto, but the day's trading markets.
Yeah.
In case many of you haven't known, we've been watching Bitcoin do a little tankola today. Not too much, but it's down, but not unpredicted. Pedro was talking about that for the past few days, well, longer than that it would be coming back down into a big area of liquidity where the market's been hot. We went over that, number of weeks in a row that the market was hot, and now, and then the number of days in a row it was hot. Can't go on that long forever. It's got to pull back. Exactly what it's doing.
I would agree. I think one of the things that we could actually pay attention to is, I actually want to bring this up because this is really cool. Circle went public today.
Wow.
And yep. And very interesting. We can see here that the S&P 500 had a bit of a sell-off today. And we can see here it came down and then kind of came back up. And you can see here now that circle, as I bring it up.
For those of you on Rumble and YouTube that don't understand what Circle is a company that owns USDC stablecoins. And they have a market cap of their stablecoin of about $60 billion. And they have about $60 billion in cash that backs that up. And they decided they wanted to make some more monies, so they went public today.
Yeah, so they went public today. And what's interesting behind it is, hey, can you do me a favor? While I go over this, I want you to go in and I want you to share on Rumble what we did, because I've been doing that. And every time I do the share and then go in and I see a spike in our viewership. So while you're doing that, go on another page, and I'm going to talk about Circle here, and then you'll actually see a spike there. So letting you know.
I have no idea what you just said, what you wanted me to do.
I want you to go through and share on Rumble the actual live stream, and then you'll see a spike.
Share on Rumble?
Take the
link.
The link and share it, and then click on it like we always tell our viewers to do.
Oh, shit. I thought you meant share it to other people. Oh, no, I got you.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, so this is really interesting. We're going to check out Bitcoin here real quick. But since Circle has come in, and we're talking, this is crazy. So the actual initiation or the IPO price for Circle was literally $31. And you can see here, as soon as it went live trading, it spiked and literally got all the way up to $103. Sold off here to about $76, and now it's pushing up here. So this is looking nice. Now I want to make sure, guys, typically you typically have a rug pull situation on most IPOs where they push up, then they come and do, like you'll see it push up for the first day, maybe 2-3 days, and then you see a sell-off where they do a price discovery for the bottom. We saw this with Facebook. We saw this with many other IPOs. So I want you guys to be careful here. If you're looking to take part in Circle's IPO, just be mindful what's actually happening here. But they've had a pretty good amount of volume come in today. I mean, crazy amount. And I won't say crazy, but a good amount where we're seeing it pick up here. So I would expect maybe a potential pullback here in maybe a day or two. So if you're looking to actually take part in this, I do like the $31 mark area here for Circle. And just be looking for that type of play while we're doing this. Also, whatever mechanism that you use to take part in the market here, and by when I say take part in the market, I mean your indicators, whatever you're using to be able to make your analysis, just make sure that you have a trending mechanism to know when it's starting to break trend so that you can actually take part in that. So if we are breaking trend and you're starting to see it come down, then you can actually take part in that. Give me 1 second. Good to have it. Oh, you just posted my stuff. All right, cool. So it's really important to look at that. I'm definitely expecting us to see a pullback here. Also, in addition to that, if we do start to see kind of really get going, understand that much like Facebook or much like a lot of these other ones, if you see a huge push up, right, where we maybe even might see this thing get up to like, $200, I would expect it to typically come back down to that base area, which is going to be like a $31 area, because that was really where the buyers are sitting. And so just be mindful of that. But either way, either person, if you got in on the IPO and you got in on the $31 mark area, real nice that you made a nice little 3x there for crypto. Shout out to you guys there. Also, BTC here, as we're looking into this, I want to point this out so you can actually see this. BTC is kind of starting to follow again on the NASDAQ here. So you can see the NASDAQ here shot up. This is the futures for the NASDAQ, which is called the NQ. You can see how we kind of went up, then came down and pushed back up. So I'm actually going to overlay this here with BTC. Give me 1 second. Boom. BTC. US dollar. Boom. Oh no, there we go. Come on. NASDAQ. Are they going to allow me to do this again or no? Compare. There we are. BTC USD. Boom. Same percentage scale. Here we go. So you can see here that it pretty much is starting to mirror again. This is the NASDAQ. We saw it come up to come down. You can see here we saw it come up. It's starting to come down even more. But again, this is kind of like what I'm starting to see it do. It's kind of parallel with the NASDAQ. And so over the past few weeks, it's kind of broken trend from the NASDAQ, but we're seeing it starting to correlate here. So that might be another indicator to be able to pay attention to as we start to move forward here with the NASDAQ. It's pretty cool here. And then Tom, are you good?
Yeah, I just did a bunch of what you were talking about there.
Yes. Boom.
Yeah, earlier, Pedro, in the show, I sold my short that I had on Bitcoin for a cool $30. And I shouldn't have. No, I should have, because that's what I expected. But
Right.
When you see the market keep going, you're like, no! It didn't leave a runner, but it wasn't a big enough trade to leave a runner. So, the runner would have pulled in an extra, $5. Let me see. Let me look at that and see where I ended. I got so many tabs open. I'm surprised my computer isn't on fire.
Definitely.
Yeah, I put the short in at about, 104,700, right around there. Actually, I can tell where it is. I got in. Average entry price 104,659, which is the peak of that little bump up. And then close price at 104 and $30. So that was a good trade. It was a good trade for the little bit of money I had in it.
I think it's one of those things that as you keep playing with it, you'll start to fine tune your style. And for many of those people who are new here, if you are looking to kind of take advantage of the market moves and things like that, I do go over a lot of that. You can go check out some of our major videos that are new. If you go check out the inauguration video, you can see there that I went over our major plays for the year that we were looking to take part in. And I go over multiple times of where the charts are at, and you can go back and you can check it out. And you'll see that the market kind of our crew here did pretty well in relationship to what we were trying to do. So it's kind of exciting. Ultimately, what we're trying to do here is really just have a broad sense of market raw information that we're looking at, and then basically me and Tom argue with each other. Sometimes we kind of correlate, and sometimes we don't, and we both call each other idiots, and it's good because you hear both sides of how we both think here. And and sometimes I'm a little bit left center, and sometimes he's right center, and sometimes I'm right center and he's left center on things. So really interesting.
Pedro, I'm gonna stop you right here again. We got another one of those great times there, which Rumble has asked us to run an ad, and so for the second time ever, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big success for us. For those of you new that are watching, we've been a small channel forever. Today, our crowd has been growing a lot. I didn't realize I was playing myself over here in the background, or I should say us. I've got the feed playing, but that's not the point. The point is that we don't get to run ads that often. We've just reached the threshold for doing it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that right now. And this ad is from Rumble itself here. Well, let's Let's get the ad. This sponsorship is from Rumble. Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built a platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on the cerveza sickness. I'm not going to say that word. The thing we all had and wore masks for. But they did. Facebook admitted that they felt pressure from the Biden-Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with Rumble. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering a $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use the Rumble code STUDIO. You can also hit the button, if you're watching Rumble, it says join premium down here, and click the rumble.com/premium and use the Rumble code STUDIO. I'll put that link also in the Rumble chat only. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we are just happy if you watch us on Rumble. And I might add, Rumble Premium is less expensive than YouTube Premium by the tune of $30 a year less. Rumble Premium is $99 minus the $10 you get off for joining this. It helps out Rumble, it helps out Pedro and I, and it's less than YouTube. And arguably, there's just as variable types of content. There's everything from sports to political talk, and Rumble is growing. But they need your help, and they need your help by joining up with them. So thank you very much to everyone for listening to me read our second advertisement, Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Moving up, and you know, like I expect us. I mean, I did kind of stumble onto something today, so we can start to utilize that much more often. And so did you notice that once you did all that, shortly after we saw the increase? So now I think what's really important here is this, and jumping back to the market here, let's go over some news here, because the news here, I think it's really important to understand.
We've got about 10 minutes left, just so you know.
Oh, okay. We'll just make this real quick here. We just saw Circle kind of come in and post. We're going to start seeing a lot of these crypto projects because of the administration and their pro stance on crypto. We should start to see a lot of these crypto entities create stocks, and those stocks should do pretty good on what we're going to see over the next year because of, not next year, but over the next 3 years with this administration. So it'd be smart to be paying attention to the news of a lot of these stocks. I expect that Crypto.com to come out with this stock. I think they're going to have a hybrid of a crypto stock and a coin. I think they're going to do something where you actually have a 1-to-1 ratio. But more importantly, also, we will expect a lot of legislation that are going to really propel crypto and see it really catapult into the next level, which it's supposed to evolve to. And so with that, keep an eye on a lot of these major news in regards to IPOs for stocks that deal with crypto, because I want you guys to make cash. Right? And I want you guys to get out ahead. And so we're going to be bringing that here anytime there's an IPO, something of that nature. We talked about that a little bit over here this past week, but seeing today's IPO with what we saw with Circle, that's impressive. That was really impressive to see you do a 2-3x or a 3x, go from $31 to almost $103. So that was just like, wow. I mean, that's you don't see that during.
Means they left money on the table. That's what that means.
But it was a nice little trade here. So anyways, thank you guys for watching us. But I want to make sure that we're going to be going over that. So tune in, stay often. If you guys, we always talk about play us in the background while you're listening or while you're working. So if you're working and you got a lot of stuff going on, please go through, throw us on the background. We can always talk over. You can hear the daily news. Jumping back to the news, what were your thoughts on Trump's statement that he's very disappointed with Elon? And we'll make that quick.
Well, he has to say that. I mean, he has to say that because he's supporting the bill. You know, it's his baby. He wants the tax cuts. He doesn't care about the spending and the pork projects and all that type of stuff. He wants to get on there and say, hey, I lowered your taxes, and not just personal income taxes, but to the various industries that are getting tax breaks out of it. I mean, literally every industry is getting a tax break because of the depreciation schedule allowances. But he wants to be able to say, look, I cut the taxes. It's going to spur this type of stuff. All the other stuff is nonsense to him. Let me rephrase that. I can't speak for Mr. Trump, obviously. I'm just surmising what is going through his mind as a matter of importance. The importance is he wants tax cuts. He wants to push those through the government so he can say, look what I did. I lowered your taxes. And, you know, does it benefit the wealthy? Of course it does. Do the wealthy create tons of jobs? Of course they do. You know, but, you know, academics all over the world will argue that relationship and how much it is. So can one offset the other? Who knows? And because they didn't have enough votes in the Senate, they had to give out $3.7 trillion in pork. Although one thing that I think is really good is that they're coming up with a cap on Section 8 housing. For you international people, Section 8 housing is that basically the federal government gives free money to landlords to have low-income housing. And the program's been abused forever because there's no good rules in it. And they're putting some decent rules into it now, like you can't stay on it forever. You have to be showing, you know, that you're progressing towards getting a job, and you know, just like when they ended welfare, they said, all right, we gotta put rules on this and be done with it, because there is an entire industry, especially in Chicago, that just preys off that program. I'm not saying the people, I'm saying the landlords. Mm-hmm. The landlords prey on that program, and they keep their buildings there's parts of Chicago you're driving, it's a nice neighborhood, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what's up with this street?
They don't take care of it.
Right.
It's slumlord. And they know that,
and the U.S. government just keeps paying them like they pay Iowa farmers to not plant corn. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot of things here that are really important to be paying attention to.
Anyway,
also,
make it quick, Pedro. I do have to go, but I got 5 minutes if you need to get a few things out.
I do want to throw this out. Also, Trump talked about he's supposed to be talking today, so guys, be ready for that. He's going to be talking here. I think he's actually talking now because the market's kind of consolidating. But I wanted to bring this up as well. There was a telephone call conversation with Xi Jinping about the tariffs and what's happening there. So be ready with that call. That's why he's going to be speaking today. Hopefully it's good news, and that we've worked out some that's going to be beneficial and advantageous for America, and as well as keep America workers safe and keeping those manufacturing jobs potentially coming here to America.
I did have it feeding to you. Glad. I'm good. You always smile when you hear the America. We're going to do that for effect. Ladies and gentlemen, America.
So, also another news thing. I'll make this last little one. President Trump's executive director of digital assets meets with El Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele to discuss Bitcoin.
Bo Hines, Bo, come be on our show, please, or be on the Swamp Creature show.
Yes, please.
Be really nice.
Be really nice. So hook it up. But ultimately, there's a lot of things going on here that I think to be paying attention to. Keep an eye, but watch Trump today when he speaks about his conversation with Trump, and you can find him typically on any major source news. I typically watch a Bloomberg source is typically what I look at, but ultimately it's open for anybody wherever you want to watch it. Thank you again for coming in today, guys. We had a great show, especially you guys over there on Rumble. Thank you so much for coming in. Please come again every day. We talk about the markets. We talk about news. We also talk about plays you can take advantage of. And more importantly, go back and watch some of our videos. I always like to highlight the January 6th 6-hour one and just kind of go through and look at us talk about kind of the market. You'll see this. You'll see me talking about moving my cursor on Trading View there, and we kind of give a little good enough. And we do that a lot. So go ahead, brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, like, instead of ourselves, Pedro, over on the screen over my shoulder here, Trump finished speaking. He was did his little speech and spoke to reporters. That's over now. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone on Rumble and all the. It was a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. We're here every day. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. The man in the box next to me is Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, bringing you the news on how to trade, teaching people like me and you how to make fat bags of cash on this great world of crypto and day trading and oil and copper, and you name it. We're going to be hitting it in the next year or so. But anyway, the next time we're going to hit it is tomorrow noon. Same bat channel, same bat time. At 12.
Right.
Sorry, I got confused there because I didn't have the credits lined up. Anyway, we had a good show for today. We're looking forward to speaking with all of you tomorrow. So be there.